go. That should be better. Hopefully you can hear me now. We've got a great start here for the 1600. We've gone through the grid as it stands, and we now have, who is that at the front? That looks like Aussie Turk is still leading the way after the first section of the course. Have a look a little bit closer in. There we go. So it's Aussie Turk who leads from Frederick Surley. He's got ahead of Jun Chen and has the American in between himself and his teammate Alexander Ister. The quickest mover at the moment, Matt Kendall, up into 6th place from 10th on the grid. You can see him there in the Dunkersaw colours with the black with the stripes at the back. Ryan T-Sink has had a problem, and Ron Osborne, while Mario Ledesma hasn't even took the start. But there is meatballs out there for Guy Robinson and Ron Osborne and Ryan T-Sink. So let's just have a look just now if we can see what's happened out there. That's where he came back onto track. So let's have a look. This is Guy Robinson returning to track. Oh, and it's a mix-up in the hairpin where things have not gone to plan. We'll try and have another look at that now. It was a move around the outside. Oh, they've just all got they've all just got caught up in the second half of the grid. We now have Aussie Turker who leads out onto the actual Nordschleife circuit. Frederick Surley just in second. There's a little gap to Jay Shen. Ister in 4th, Kendall now up to 5th already, the car number 1. He did not qualify, so he did have to start down in 10th place, as Leonardo Malcao and Guy Robinson has crashed near the back of the field, so he will be towing to a pits, I will probably believe at some point. Yes, he has towed to a pits, and that's why you see him pop up at the top of the timing screen there, but that is not the full extent, and that will change itself very shortly. Turker leads from Surley. There's a gap opening up down this fast part of the circuit as we head all the way through these right, left, full pace. Absolutely no way of changing the speed through here. It is just full pelt. We're on board with Turker for a moment as we head back to Surley in 2nd place. It says 3rd, but please ignore Guy Robinson with the black flag. And it is Surley who keeps it flat through there. I wasn't sure whether they would on the opening lap with cold tyres, but they have done. And now we shoot their way out. And now it's constantly heading down to the bottom part of the circuit, the lowest point of this Nordschleife circuit, as Surley is closing in there very rapidly on the leader. The slipstream helping him there as he comes up to this right left chicane that just slows everybody down. The only uphill part of the circuit that's actually left until they start heading from the lowest point of the circuit. It's two in the lead. Then just behind them is Ji Shen, who is really being hassled by Matt Kendall now, who is up from 10th on the grid. We're on board with him now, and he's having a look at the inside of Shen into here. No, he doesn't want to make the moves here, because as soon as you make a move which is going to slow you both down, you lose the tow, and he wants to keep as close as he can to then cars in front. Does not want Turk and Surley to get away, and that's what Surley's trying to look for at the moment in time. Look to the inside by Kendall, doesn't quite make it through, and he is being followed by Ister, who's just taking a watching brief. Then it goes back to Hunt and Vitan. Reticing has towed to the pits, so has Leonardo Malcao, and we know Guy Robinson. I don't think he's towed into the pits. I think what's happened there with Guy is he's driven in through the Grand Prix pit lane, and that's what set off the timing irregularity. Nido Braun has gone off track. Let's have a look what happened to Nido. Oh, it looked like he'd spun already, then got back going again, and who was that just in front of him? That was Will Blackwell Chambers, who just clipped him on the way through. Nothing purposeful there, but it just made sure that Nido's front suspension was broken and couldn't continue on. Go back to Matt Kendall, slipstreaming, and you can see the two working together to just on these longer bits to catch up with Turka and Surly, and it's worked. It's absolutely worked, because they know that Ista is right behind them as well as they come up through. This is now heading back up the hill towards the main Grand Prix Nürburgring circuit, which is obviously the start of this combined lap. And another thing to think about in this race is their tyres. They are doing a much longer race than they normally do. It's normally 20 minutes. It's now 3 laps of this circuit as they go into the carousel this time by. And everybody just keeping it nice and secure on the back of there. We'll just have a quick look back. There is Vitan and Hunt fighting over 7th place. Both of them will try and work together to close that group. It's not uncatchable. It's not a group that's uncatchable, but it is a group which need to be caught if they want to win this race, because the slipstream will be just too powerful along the dot and hoe on the final lap. They come through a section which everybody sort of goes to watch around the Nordschleife. It's known as YouTube Bend coming up, just because that is where everybody seems to have issues when they're going around in their road car. Head to YouTube videos if you want for that one. But it is Turka that keeps it all nice, and they have all kept it, the top 5 keeping it nice and clean around this circuit. And even though he seems to have a higher pace, Matt Kendall is not getting desperate in his move to try and get past Shen. Taking his time, he's using his knowledge from the Motorsport UK series that he competed in Formula Ford, and using that knowledge to good effect about the car to keep Shen in the slipstream and not frightening him too much. Will he have a go before the dot and hoe? Very much doubt it. On board with Surly here, he's closing in on Aussie Turka again. Not wanting to make the move just yet, because they all wait for that slipstream down the back straight. Through the triple, I would call it a triple right-hander, onto the dot and hoe straight, and Turka's got a great pull out of there, so Turka will have the gap. Surly might be able to close it. The gap is half a second at the moment, so that gap should come down. But I think the one to watch is Matt Kendall, who is now going for a position on 3rd place on Shen. Shen not fighting it hard because there's not much point at this stage, but will probably try and... Oh, we noticed there, Shen gave the side draft, now coming back at Kendall. This could be a change between them in terms of their gear ratios or how they change gear. But Shen's come back and actually holds off Kendall down into the end of the lap. Surly's having a look at... Surly has taken the lead, I'm afraid. I managed to just miss that on the camera, but Surly now leads from Turka, Shen, Kendall and Ista. So I was absolutely wrong about watching Kendall. And it was actually... Frederick Surly who needed to be watched, as he now crosses the line, and that is the first lap completed of the 3 we have tonight. The race is going to be roughly half an hour long, and as you can see, the live timing will now return to its rightful positions. Hunt just ahead of Vitan. Blackwell Chambers will now go through Gomez and Ron Osborne Jr. We've also got in the pits, is that Guy Robinson? No, that's not Guy Robinson, that's Nathaniel Bell, who's gone to the pits with Meatball as well. So not a good race, but these 5 definitely keeping it going up front. So we now have Kendall, who's got through into 3rd place on the first corner. Just see if that, where that is on my replays. Here somewhere, honest. There we go. This is the move Kendall made for third place, down into the first corner. Perfect slipstream off the 2 straights. No chance for a quick reply by Shen, so that's perfect for Kendall, who now heads on to the leaders. On Osborne, also passing Gomez, which I think is down. Oh, it's on the exit of the corner of the stadium section at the start of the Grand Prix loop. Osborne then goes through into 9th place, ahead of Gomez, who's up 6 positions, but running 10th overall at this moment in time. Back at the front, Turkers retook the lead from Surly. This is expected. These drivers will chop and change as they go around. There's a mention in the chat that Kendall could be on a tall stack for the gearing there, which might explain why he wasn't able to fight at the second end of the straight. That's something he's going to have to take into effect on the 3rd lap. Try and get to the front and try and pull away, if anything. But they've got some very experienced drivers here in this top 5, and all of them sitting there. The one out of all is Alexander Ister, sitting at the back, just watching things happen, sticking with the group. He knows he hasn't got to take the fight to him just yet, so he will deal with that when it gets that far. But as long as he's in touch with the lead, he's got a chance on that final lap. Urka, Surly, Kendall, Shen, Ister. And we have a quick look back to Graham Roy Hunt and Vitan in 6th and 7th. Will Blackwell Chambers there in 8th, probably carrying a little bit of damage, but he's closing in on Vitan and Hunt, so maybe he'll be able to make that a 3-way battle at some point in the near future. Now Surly's under pressure. Kendall having a look. This is a helicopter cam down onto him. They almost look like, with the helicopter cam on this, they look like bugs skipping across the top of ponds, but it's not. It's full on. Nido Braun has passed Ledesma for 13th. That's a really Teising. Teising has rejoined the race, so he's down in 15th at the moment, but will obviously move through to 11th by the time he, or maybe not 11th, maybe to 12th, because Nathaniel Bell has come back in, has been into pits and gone again, so it'll be Bell in 11th and Teising in 12th. So it's all shakes itself out. But these drivers just try not to, you notice, not using too much curb. There's a risk if you spin on these curbs that you will end up caught up in them, and there's me saying Alexander Ister is holding on to the back of him. He's now fallen back away from him and will not be, well, isn't in any kind of slipstream. He is 3.7 behind. Can we see? Oh, we've gone off track by Ister. That might explain it. He's come down the hill. He's touched the back of Chen. That's why Chen just about holding on around the outside of the corner. But Ister hitting the gravel, and that has caused that gap to be extended. Ister now needing to close back in on Chen. That will be enough of a battle to try and get there. Chen may be close enough to still be able to get to this front three, but it's now, instead of front five, we have a front three. 2 single drivers, and then the gap of Hunt, Vitan and Chambers starting to fight. As Vitan has just actually made his way past Hunt for 6th place, and they're having a left and right tight battle between themselves. Heard somebody bottoming out on the curb there actually, and I think that may have been Chen. Now on board with Surly again, same position as last lap around. Matt Kendall is also there looking at the slipstream. He's got the slipstream off Surly. Surly trying not to pick up the slipstream too early, but both of these lifting. You can hear them lifting, and let's see if we can hear what kind of stack Kendall's on if he starts maxing out in the slipstream. Yeah, I've got a feeling Kendall might be on the tall stack, and that's what's just not making it possible for him to attack through the corners. We'll see. We'll see how the race goes. It could be Kendall just playing his games to make sure that he is in the right position for the final lap. It does sound like he's starting to get towards the max of that. It does sound quite short in terms of how the stack works itself as they go up towards the carousel for the second time. Dive in. All three of them make it through. Yes, they do. Looking behind. Everybody made it through there. Yes, they have. Out of that top five. So, and Graham Roy Hunt had got past Vitan, then runs onto that high groove on the carousel, which means that you don't have the momentum. And look at Will Blackwell Chambers absolutely flying behind him. He's not setting purple sectors, but he's certainly setting best sectors out of these three, and he's going to be on the back of these, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Blackwell Chambers into 6th place by the end of this lap. Kendall has took second. Kendall's got up the inside of Surly in quite a strange position there, so just noticed on the screen that Frederick Surly's had a bit of an off. Let's have a look. Going down the hill here, and he gets on the curb and he has to go over the curb to ride it, and that's what let Kendall through, and that's what produced a gap in front to Aussie Turker. These two drivers now need to really work together. Kendall, he's around a second. If he can just get that a little bit lower, then he will be in perfect striking distance for the final straight. But as we said before, if he's on the tall stack, it will not help him, and Aussie Turker will just get further away, and Frederick Surly will make his way back towards the rear of that car. But from the helicam at Kendall, you can just see Turker just going out of sight there. That's about 9/10 of a second. So if he can get a good run through these two corners, he will get some kind of slipstream, but will it be enough? We'll see. Through the mini carousel, good run there for Kendall. You can hear Surly in the background going through it as well, and he's falling back to Chen. These two might actually work together quite well. Being so close, they could gain a lot on the people in front. Because they have the perfect slipstream. They could probably slipstream each other twice down this straight. Go back to a helicopter cam. There is Chen making his way past Surly. Oh, and we've got a crash in the midfield. It is Graham Roy Hunt and Van. So let's have a look what happened here. The Tan are losing back end. Hunt with nowhere tries to avoid it, but nowhere to go. And through goes Will Blackwell Chambers. Hunt gets going again. And so does Vitan. We'll just have a look at what happened there to Vitan. Just gets on the inside curve. That runs him out to the grass, clips the grass, and around it goes. Hunt's very lucky to keep going there, to be fair, and they'll be able to go to the pits for any kind of rebuilds they need to do. They will have their one fast repair. Back at the front, Chen has, Surly's been passed by Chen, and Chen passed him back. Here comes Chen back up the inside, and actually we need to have a look in front, because here goes Kendall for the lead of this race. He goes up the inside of Aussie Turker for 10th on the grid. Matt Kendall is hitting the front as we start the final lap. It sounds like he's really close to victory, but still another 10-minute lap to finish. Roy Hunt getting the meatball, so he heads into the pits. Vitan doesn't seem to have, so he's carried on, or at least he's carried on with the damage. He hasn't got a meatball. Ron Osborne Jr. up to 8th. Juan Gomez up to 9th. Hunt may come out in 10th because he has driven to the pits. But Kendall, what a drive. Brilliant first lap to get himself into the first group, which was a group of 5 to start with, and it's whittled down, and he's just made his way up every time, so he's not last in that group and left off the back. Aussie Turker will not be giving up just yet, as the Finnish driver will be heading up through the Schumacher S on the Grand Prix loop. certainly still close enough to give this a good fight. So as long as he can stay about this far away from Kendall on the straights, he will be there. Surly and Shen are still fighting over third place here. Frederick Surly, actually the sponsor for this championship as well. So if you need any stunt driving, cars for productions and things like that over in Norway, Filmbil is the company to go with. There's a lot more in the description below about the company, and make sure you go and check some of the videos out. Surly leads ahead of Shen for this final podium place. They've hit the Nordschleife circuit, and again Aussie Turker has not managed to keep with Matt Kendall. Matt Kendall has hit the front and hit the front at a canter now. I mean, we're all debating whether he's on the tall stack. Maybe he is, and that is why he has to make hay while the sun shines, because if he gets onto that back straight, he might get caught very, very quickly if he's not on the tall stack. If he's on the tall stack, sorry. Turker trying to get in that slipstream. He is closing in. It is actually towing him along because he's under a second now. Will he be close enough by the end of the straight to make a challenge? Head down the hill, that will help as well with the slipstream. 8/10 of a second, 7/10 of a second now. Not going to be enough, but it is going to put him closer to Kendall to be able to make this fight. Istat has fallen back to 5 seconds behind the battle for the podium, so he's pretty much out of it now unless they make mistakes. And Graham Roy Hunt has taken the pit lane rebuild and is out in 10th place. Nathaniel Bell in 11th, Nido Braun in 12th. Ryan Teesing in 13th. Guy Robinson has fallen to 14th after his black flag. I'm not sure he's actually rejoined the circuit, to be fair. Mario Ledesma in 15th. Oh yeah, Guy Robinson has rejoined the circuit, but he's down in 14th place. Aussie Turker managed to get the gap down on these long straights too. Oh, we've got a crash for Guy Robinson. We'll have a look at that. Here he is, just trying to get some laps in as he heads around the circuit. And what happens, just a bit too deep, bit wide, back end steps out onto the curb and around he goes. Luckily no traffic around him, and he will continue on. But Matt Kendall has to be looking in his mirrors now. Aussie Turker is there, and we have 2 or 3 areas of straights, not completely straight. We are at the Nordschleife, but he has 2 or 3 options of when to try and overtake Matt Kendall, if he possibly can, or has Kendall got an answer for the Finn. Kendall up from 10th place, Turker from the pole position. Frederick Surly hasn't changed his position, he is still in 3rd place, as you can see him. They're now holding off Chen to the sound of about half a second. Again, we will get onto the straights and that will disappear. So Chen's still right in the battle, but we will keep our eyes on this front battle because Turker has a nice slipstream. There's the bottom of the hill. That is the bottom of Nordschleife. Everything is uphill from now. And will this slipstream up the hill help Turkey's closing in very, very quickly? The gap now 2/10 of a second. Will he try and make a move on Kendall now, or will he wait? We'll see. It looks like he's waiting. Yes, he's lifting. He's lifting. You can hear it in the engine. He's not trying to make the move here. He knows he's got the advantage on the straight, and he wants to wait for that behind Matt. Unless Matt makes a mistake, which I'm not expecting it after how he's driven so far in this race. Turker just sitting there nicely. We'll have a look behind. Is that the same for Shen? Yes, it is. Shen knows he wants 3rd place. It is about passing Surly on that final straight. Just just while we get the chance, we'll have a look back. There's Alexander Istad in a lonely 5th place. He is close enough if there's a contact, but hopefully, touch wood, we're not going to see contact between the cars at any point through the rest of the race. Blackwood up 5 positions. He's not quite. He's the 3rd biggest mover in this race. Juan Gomez is your 2nd biggest after Kendall with 7 positions gained. Just keeping it on the island, the name of the game for the Spaniard, and will come out with a 9th place from 16th on the grid. That will be a good result overall for the Spaniard. After qualifying in 9th place, 7th place would still be a brilliant result for Vitan from Croatia. First time seen in a soft racing with the Jordan livery on the car, repping the sad death we had last year of Eddie Jordan. But certainly out to 7th place of creation, and going to be one to watch in other races, I think, unless he's a Nord specialist, which we'll never know. Turka is a yellow. There's a slowdown. Is that a slowdown for Turka? If it is at the worst possible time. Having a look now, Turka, yes, Turka's dropping back very, very quickly. So that must be a slowdown for Turka to try and get rid of. And it is. Kendall, yes, it's got rid of it. And Surly's off in the background as well. So the fight is now going to be between these two for 3rd place as we are coming round onto the Dottenhoe for the final time. Through the 2nd carousel they go. Matt Kendall leads. Turka in 2nd place. Just that slowdown just hampering him getting a run at the leader. Surly's had a good run through here though, and Matt has extended the lead to just a second. The question is, can Shen close in? We'll have a look at that gap. Is it coming down? Slowly it's coming down, but is it going to be enough? We'll go on board with Surly. He's weaving all over the straight to try and make sure the slipstream doesn't happen. Shen following his every move. If anything, this could be slowing Surly down even more. As Shen is catching at a rate of knots, will it be enough to get past the Norwegian at the end of the straight? Doesn't look like it as they go under the bridge. We're going to have to flip back to our leader in a minute, but it looks like these two are going to come across. Oh, they're side by side. Surly off the track, Surly round, and Surly spun. I don't think he's managed to hit the barrier, but across the line to win from 10th on the grid. Matt Kendall takes the victory in the Scuderia Dunkersaw colours with the fastest lap of 9:28. Aussie Turka comes home in 2nd place ahead of Shen, who takes 3rd. Istat in 4th, just ahead of his teammate Frederick Surly, who just got caught on the grass. We'll have a look back at that in a minute as we're watching Will Blackwell Chambers come home in a very well deserved 6th place, up 5 positions from his grid position. Vitan comes home in 7th ahead of Ron Osborne Jr., the American, coming home in 8th place. A quiet race, but certainly no more well deserved. Gomez comes home in 9th, and then we have quite a gap down back to Rory Hunt. We'll get it right way round. He's going to come home in 10th place, and I don't think he expected that after the meatball he had. But he comes home in 10th place, only 58 seconds off the lead. And then we look a bit further back. So let's see if we can see what happened to Frederick Surly. On board with Shen. And as they come through, Shen, oh, there's a little touch in the background. Let's see if we can pick that up again. This time from Surly. There's a little netcode touch in it. It just puts Surly onto that curb, but it does very well to keep that out the barrier. A little touch on the rear, and Ista only just got through after Surly had got going again. So if those two weren't teammates, maybe Surly would have been a little more aggressive, but not in the end. Nido Braun comes home See if anybody is still out there on the circuit. There's Ryan Teesing. We haven't seen him. He was here for week 1. He wasn't here for week 2, and then had an early race exit at the bottom of a hill. Managed to get the fast repair done and is returning around. We'll be able to see him go along the dotted note as well. Nido Braun is ahead of him by about... Oh, Bell must have crashed on the final lap. Let me have a look here. This is Nathaniel Bell pops out the second carousel and the car brakes at the barrier, and that is difficult to get it back home. Not able to, so he does a sensible thing, pulls back across, but that does give 11th place to Nido Braun. Teesing will take 12th. Mario Ledesma in 14th place. It should get past Bell as long as it doesn't time out. How long have we got left? May time out before he gets to Bell, and Guy Robinson there is he's only just getting up to the first carousel, so Guy Robinson may not make it as well to gain that position off Bell. Those 3 laps didn't take as long as you thought. You thought they were quite short, but 10 minutes each, but that race flew by us with an instant. Just going to see who Teesing has just got across the line. Ledesma still ahead of the Argentinian in 14th place. Ledesma driving very well. I think he just got caught up with Guy Robinson at the start. Oh no, Robinson was a bit further on. We saw him head into pit lane. Coming round onto the second carousel and the dotted note. He's 2 minutes ahead of Guy Robinson, so there shouldn't be any issues here in terms of he could take it easy and bring it all the way home to a flag. Down the dotted note for the final time. Mario Ledesma, not a driver we see often in the soft, but done a good job today after losing it early on the first lap, bringing it home in 13th place. And actually, it means all but 2 of our drivers will finish. Leonardo Malaco, did not take the start, and Nathaniel Bell lost it on the final lap. So actually, all our drivers who started the race made it to the final lap. Bell, very unfortunate to lose it with a couple of corners to go. But still, 14 finishers around the Nordschleife. That's very well done by all the drivers to keep it clean, especially when we had that group of 5 at front who were very close together for the majority of that race. Ledesma comes across the line, and then Guy Robinson just having his nice moment of fame. I hope he's got some sponsors on the car there who will be very happy. Robinson, a driver we've seen in the soft before, very quick driver, just unfortunate that he had that accident in the Grand Prix loop at the start of the race, and probably didn't help going in through the Grand Prix pits. It does help in terms of being in pits quicker, but it will give you a huge black flag penalty for that, and that is what's made Guy Robinson be 8 minutes off the lead, but still not a lap down. will have 15 finishes. Well, it's 15 finishes on the last lap because Bell will be classified. For me, he will be getting that close to a finish as Robinson will go on board with Robinson through this final part of the circuit, and hopefully, touch wood, Robinson makes it to the end of the race. Makes it down towards the second carousel, or the mini carousel, or the half carousel, whatever you'd like to call it. Got to hook that inside wheel in early. It does that, unlike Bell, who got onto the bit where the bottom of the car will just skid along. Robinson does pass Bell for 14th. Technically pull off the track now if he wanted to, but he wants to finish the race, which is fair done by the Brit. He's currently 9 minutes off the leader, Matt Kendall, but he did have that huge black flag and a repair to do, so still looking to bring it home. Got the whole dot and hoe to himself. Probably would have liked a bit of a slipstream right now, but not possible for Robinson, so he's just going to bring it home in 14th place. And it could be important for him. It could be important points for him in the championship. So if he does come and do more of the soft races, it could come round to actually be quite an important 14th place at the end of the day. Especially if he has to miss some as well, which I'm not sure he's done any so far this season. So across the line comes Guy Robinson, and he takes the final position, classified position here at the Nordschleife. Here's your results. Matt Kendall wins from 10th on the grid by 3.057 seconds ahead of the Finn Aussie Turker. Zhu Shen takes third place right at the very end, the American privateer getting on the podium ahead of Alexander Ista after Frederick Surley just had that podium slip away from him due to a bit of netcode on the final lap, and he falls to 5th. Will Blackwell Chambers is in 6th ahead of Vitan and Osborne Jr. Gomez and Hunt round out your top 10. Nido Braun is in 11th, German, just beating the Dutch Reen Teesing ahead of Mario Ledesma. Guy Robinson, Nathan Bell, who retired on the last lap, and Malaco, who did not start the race. That's it now for Formula Ford on Monday night. Not for this week anyway. And we thank our sponsors Filmbil for their support during this time. That is the longest race of the season done. Next week we head to Laguna Seca with a forecast of rain as well. So it's certainly going to be hot on such tight track as well. If we get a full grid and it's wet as well, it's going to be interesting to see how drivers get on. But for now, my name's David Whitehouse. I thank you for joining us around the Nordschleife of this Monday evening, and we'll see you same time next week for Laguna Seca.